On behalf of the Entrepreneurship Development Cell of St. Xavier's College, Autonomous Kolkata, it is with great pleasure that I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. It is with utmost honor, privilege, and gratitude that I introduce our guest esteemed speaker, Ms. Dhairya Gangwani, who is the founder of Dhairya Decodes. Dhairya Gangwani is an EC engineer turned management consultant who is now a full-time career coach and content creator. She worked with KPMG in India as a SAP associate consultant for 2.7 years. She has delivered over 500 plus talks all across the globe in the past 2 years. As a career coach via her initiative of Dhairya Decodes, she has been able to impact over 5K plus working professionals and students. She has amassed over 1 lakh plus followers across social media platforms and delivered a TEDx talk and 3 plus George talks as well. She was selected as one of the top 50 content creators in India by Graphy by Unacademy in the year 2021 and was also a part of the first cohort of the top 200 creators selected to be a part of the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator Program in India 2022. Very recently, she was also recognized as one of the top 25 education and career content creators in India by Unstop in May 2023 and was felicitated by the governor of Uttarakhand as the top 100 women entrepreneurs and creators. We are beyond delighted to have you join us, ma'am, and I now hand over the virtual podium to you.
Hi, everyone. Firstly, a very good afternoon to all of you. I hope I am clearly audible and visible to all of you. I want to firstly thank the entire team at the Entrepreneurship and Development Cell at St. Xavier's, Kolkata. And it's really an honor to be here. I think I did associate with you guys sometime almost a year and a half ago as well with your college. And it's always lovely to interact with college students. Thanks for the lovely introduction. I think today we are here to talk about something that is very close to my heart because LinkedIn as a platform has given me a lot. And I always say this at each and every stage that I get with utmost gratitude that I am who I am because of LinkedIn as a platform. And that's why any chance that I get to talk about LinkedIn to entrepreneurs, to students like you, to company owners, founders, or even working professionals, I grab onto that opportunity because you guys should know what kind of potential it holds. So without any further ado, I think we should get started with the session. But before we start, I'll just quickly take you through what I have for you today, right? And how the session is going to pan out so that you understand what is it that you can expect from the session, what am I going to cover, and I'll give you like a quick overview. So the session is planned in such a manner that there are 3 small phases to it, right? Phase 1 is where I explain to you step 1, which is the basic baby step you need to take when you get onto a platform like LinkedIn, irrespective of what you want out of it, whatever your outcome may be. The first step is your profile needs to be optimized. So we will cover LinkedIn profile optimization first. That's how I'll start the session. It's very important to understand as a college going student, what is it that you can present on a platform like LinkedIn? How can you present it? And what does LinkedIn profile optimization even mean, right? Phase 2, I'll move towards something that is not necessarily content creation, which we call today. So the moment I say that you're supposed to be active on LinkedIn and you're supposed to post, people always take it in a direction that I'm asking you to be a content creator or I'm asking you to create content, which is not the case. You will understand what I mean by the second phase when I get to it. So we'll keep it as a mystery for now. And the third phase is how you can actually create a strong personal brand and then leverage LinkedIn to land jobs, to get internships, to build a meaningful network, to build your own personal brand, and so many other things, right? So those are the 3 phases that we'll go through in the workshop. And that's how you'll understand how all the dots will connect ultimately and just help you become a pro at LinkedIn, right? So that's what I have planned for this session. And I think now what we're going to do is I'm going to start with the first phase, which is LinkedIn profile optimization. Before I get to it, I'm going to give you like a live demo on my profile, right? So what we're going to do is we'll go through every section of my profile, which we'll use as a reference, but I'll keep giving you examples of how you could replicate it as a student and how should your profile look like, because that's very important. First impressions matter. So that'll be a live demo. But before that, 2 quick things that you should know. One is don't consider LinkedIn as just another job search platform. That's one mistake everybody makes. I made it as well. This September, right, I completed 3 years on LinkedIn. And what I've realized is that I always looked at it just as a platform where you can look for jobs and internships, and that is why you go to it, which is just not the case. It's become so much more. It has so much more to offer. You just need to understand what are the different avenues, right? Everybody, right from a student to a working professional, a freelancer, a startup founder, to even politicians and actors today. Sunil Shetty is on LinkedIn. Yuvraj Singh has an account on LinkedIn. There are so many other entrepreneurs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is there on LinkedIn. Everybody is using it for different purposes, right? So don't restrict yourself into thinking that only when I'm looking for a job is when I go to LinkedIn. That's not the case at all. And the second thing that I want you to know definitely is that LinkedIn is your digital canvas or your digital portfolio. It's not comparable to your resume. Okay. As a student, a lot of times what we think is that your LinkedIn profile is just an extension of your resume. In a lot of senses, it is. But technically, if you go to think, LinkedIn is a social media networking platform. Obviously, it's a professional social media platform, networking platform, but it's not a piece of paper. So don't compare your resume to your LinkedIn profile in any way. Some information may overlap 100%, you cannot deny it. But the purpose of a LinkedIn profile is very different. It is to digitally portray a lot of things about yourself and your career journey and path to people in general, not just to recruiters. It's not just restricted to professional information. You can also talk about your passion projects, your hobbies, and other things. You create posts, you network with people. You can do so many other things which you can't do on a resume, right? So just remember that fine line is always there. On that note, I think let's get started. We'll begin with phase one. So I just request, the screen sharing to be started. So we'll go on to my profile. What we're going to do is, like I said, I'll take you through each and every section of my profile and explain to you how every section of your profile needs to be optimized so that you start getting more visibility and you get discovered on the platform better, right? I think you all can see my screen at this point. At least I can. So I think we're good to go. So we'll start with the first thing, right? Like I told you, it's a social media networking platform. Any platform, whether it's an Instagram, it's X, or it is Snapchat, Quora, Reddit, whatever it is, or it's Instagram or LinkedIn, whatever may be the purpose for which the person is connecting to you, the reality is the first thing that anybody will notice is your display picture, right? We don't care about what reasons are there behind it. That is how human beings function. We want to attach an image to a name. The moment I am introduced to a new person and I'm told, okay, this is my name, I want to imagine what this person would look like. Who is this person? And attach an image to it. So the biggest, I think, mistake that most people make is not having a display picture at all. That is something you shouldn't do for sure. You cannot not have a display picture on LinkedIn. Now, what kind of a display picture should you have on LinkedIn? See, there are just three things. The first one is it should be a headshot or a mugshot, which means the first half of your body, the upper half of your body should be the focus. And even in that picture, the face should be the point of focus. So a passport size photograph or a mugshot or a headshot is ideal. That's it. Second thing is you don't really have to be very, very professionally dressed. So a lot of people take it very seriously. You don't have to be in a pantsuit and with a tie or nothing like that. But you genuinely have to look professional. You can't be looking casual. I always tell this to all of my mentees that just ask yourself, would you post this picture on Instagram as a general post? If yes, then don't use that picture as your display picture on LinkedIn. That's the most basic thing you can ask yourself, because if that picture is casually going out on Instagram, it definitely should not be your display picture on LinkedIn, right? They're two different platforms with two different purposes. So I think that is what you should ask yourself when setting a display picture. And I think the last thing is make sure your display picture is clutter free. By clutter, I mean the focus only has to be on you in your image. There can't be something popping in the background, somebody's hand, a cropped image, a bottle or a tree in the background. It looks really distracting and doesn't look professional. So it's very easy to get that done. This picture of mine has also been edited on Canva because it did have certain objects in the background. There was a TV and certain bottles and whatever, and that looks really shabby. So just take care of the basic stuff, right? As long as you can take care of these three things, I think your display picture is pretty much in a good position on LinkedIn and you're good to go. The next thing that you should really, really work on is your banner. So what you can see right behind my display picture in black with me holding a mic in my hand, the picture and accelerating your career growth, that entire area is called the LinkedIn banner. Okay. Now, your LinkedIn banner is extremely crucial. It's very visual and it sticks with people. Why it sticks with people is because it is visual in a sense. People may want to scroll through a lot of things on social media, but the moment you give them imagery, you give them visuals, because human visual memory is so strong, we tend to retain things better. Because of which, your banner is a great asset for you, because in the first 5 to 10 seconds you can tell people, hey, hold on, I have something to offer, just read this, and then you can probably decide if you want to scroll through or actually see my profile entirely. Because nobody is going to have the time to sit down, go through your profile in entirety. Very few people do that, trust me. So if you have to get them intrigued enough to view your entire profile, hold up a conversation, or just be curious, your banner has to be interesting. Okay. Now, the point is, how do you make your banner interesting? You make your banner interesting by giving people information, targeted information in seconds. What is targeted information? As a student or as anybody, whatever career, milestone or journey you are in your life, you are doing something. Okay, whether it's studying, whether it's working on a project, whether it's building on skills, whether it's doing an internship, whether it's attending conferences, being a part of a club or chapter in college, or doing a job or anything else. The point is, you need to tell people what you do, how do you help them, who are you, right? So these are questions that have to be answered. If you look at my banner, the first line you see is accelerating your career growth. I make it very clear to people in seconds that I help you with your career growth. If that is still not clear and not satisfactory, there are keywords to further add on to it and supplement it and support it. So then I have written founder Dhairya decodes, content creator, career coach, 500 plus talks. There's an image of me with a mic to further show visually that, okay, I go to stages, I speak, I give talks, I give sessions, and then there are keywords. And then further, there are logos on my banner at the bottom of certain brands and institutions I've worked with, which I want to highlight. This is fairly, I think it's time for me to update my banner because this is almost 1.5 years old now. A lot of things have changed. And I have a lot more to add. But what I'm trying to tell you is, when you look at my banner, you get a clear idea of who Dhairya Gangwani is. Simply put, what does she do? How does she help people? Right? Or what is her skill set? Similarly, let's take an example. If you are a student who's interested in marketing, or if you're a student who's interested in sales and operations, if you're interested in marketing, by looking at your banner, in at least maximum 20 to 30 seconds, I need to understand this person is a marketing enthusiast, or I need to know what within marketing are you interested in? Is it performance marketing? Is it growth marketing? Is it paid ads? Is it strategy? Is it SEO? Is it content writing? Is it SMM, social media marketing? So the point is, when I look at your banner, there has to be keywords and there has to be visual elements complementing the keywords, both, that tell me essentially, who are you? What do you do? How do you help people? Simple. That's what your banner has to be about, right? It may or may not have your own image, but it needs to have images complementing the keywords you're putting up there. You could have a one-liner, slogan, mantra, or statement. If you have one, it's not compulsory. I'm not telling you to emulate or copy exactly what I've done. This is just a reference point for you, right? The ultimate aim or agenda is your banner should speak for itself. That's it. If it gives clarity to somebody, it's good to go. So that's the banner. If you could just highlight this entire point from founder Dhairya Decode till Josh Talk speaker, that area, yeah. So that they can, yeah, that's it, perfect. So this area is called the headline, by the way. Now your LinkedIn headline is a very, very important and a technical aspect of your profile. Search engine optimization on LinkedIn starts here. I'm sure most of you know what SEO is. It essentially works on keywords and keyword ranking, and it's used by different websites and blogs and people who write articles to rank up on the Google search engine results page, right? As we call it. Whenever you're looking up for anything and you type a particular keyword, you put a query on any search engine, there are certain results that are shown to you by the search engine. And there are certain pages or blogs or articles or restaurants or whatever that rank up higher and are on the first page as opposed to others. That happens because of a good SEO score. And there is a similar theory that applies to LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile as well. So internally on LinkedIn, let's say I'm a recruiter or I'm a startup founder and I'm looking for talent. I want to hire talent. Let's say I'm a startup founder and I'm looking to hire a digital marketer, right? The most basic thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the LinkedIn platform. As you can see, there's a search bar right on the top on LinkedIn. I'll go to that search bar and I'll just type digital marketer. Okay. Obviously, because I'm looking for digital marketers to be hired in my firm. The moment I type the keyword digital marketer, LinkedIn itself is going to show me some results and some people's profiles are going to pop up. LinkedIn is going to recommend them to me. And there'll be 10 more pages like that, and every page will have 20 profiles. It's obvious that as a founder or as a talent acquisition manager or as an HR manager, I'm low on time. I don't have the time to go through the 10th page with the 100th profile. I don't. I would rather go with the first 2 pages, maybe, which is the first 10 or 20 profiles. And why would I do that? Because LinkedIn itself is recommending me these people's profiles. So I would believe that they are more trustable, they are more credible. And because they are being recommended, I would just go ahead with it, right? When you are looking for anything to do on the internet, whether it is you visiting a new travel location and you want to do touristy things there and you go on Google and you type what all you should do, you are going to go with what the first 3 or 4 articles are telling you to do mostly. Or at least I'm sure you're not going to go to the third page on the 30th article and listen to what they're telling you to do. It's the same theory that is applied here. So now the question arises, why are these particular people only appearing when somebody types the keyword digital marketer? Okay. And not other people's profiles, because there are lakhs of people who have written digital marketer in their profile on LinkedIn. Okay. Why is it that their profiles show up? That's because it's not just about adding one keyword in one placeholder at one place in your profile. That's not the trick. It's slightly technical. To be able to start ranking and to be able to start showing up on people's profiles for certain keywords, you need to have a recurrence of certain keywords across different sections in your profile. Okay. It starts with the headline, but it does not end there. So just by adding the keyword digital marketer or software engineer or data scientist, depending on whatever field you're interested in. For example, if you write aspiring market, research analyst, and if you're thinking that suddenly you will start showing up for market research analyst keywords, it doesn't work like that. There are a lot of permutations and combinations that apply in different sections. You have to have the keywords on, which I'll talk about during the session. So, but it'll start here. If you look at my headline, it has founder Dhairya decodes, transform 10K plus careers, TEDx speaker, etc., etc., etc. What are these keywords? How have I thought of these keywords? Just by asking myself one question, and that's the same thing you need to do for yourself. Ask yourself, what are the keywords for which I would want my name and my profile to be shown up on somebody's LinkedIn search? Simple. When somebody types the keyword resume building, career coach, public speaker, TEDx speaker, okay, I want my profile to be one of the profiles that is shown to them. Simple. That's how I've decided on these keywords. Similarly, if your ultimate goal, for example, is to be a management consultant, or if your ultimate goal is to, for example, let's say, work as a business development executive. I'm just taking random examples. It is very obvious that one word has to be there, which is business development executive or aspiring business development executive, lead generation, sales. Those kind of keywords have to be there. If you want to become a management consultant, aspiring management consultant, okay, or management consulting enthusiast, strategy, business operations, and all relevant keywords have to be there, right? So the point is, whatever you have to think and put yourself in the shoes of the recruiter or people who are looking for talent, because all of you, I am assuming, are mostly going to be on LinkedIn so that you can look for jobs or build a great professional network. So think from their perspective. What keywords would they type in to look for people like me? Simple. And then you get an answer. Okay. Just be mindful, you only have 133 characters, which means every single comma, every single space, every single question mark is a character. Every letter is a character. It's not 133 words, it's 133 characters. So be very mindful of the keywords you're putting up here. Another pattern you'll notice is most of the keywords that are there on my banner are also repeated in my headline. Okay. That's done on purpose so that there is some coherence and relevance that's maintained, right? At no point of time do you want to show that you are in conflict of what you are doing in any way, right? So at least there has to be uniformity all across your profile. Okay, so we covered the display picture, we covered the banner, we covered the headline, right? We're done with 3 things. We can scroll down. I'll quickly talk about the featured section, right? So yeah, we're here at the featured section. Now, what is the featured section? It is like your Instagram highlights, simply put. the most important milestones, aspects, or something you want to highlight to somebody, even before they go down and check your experience and education section, which is very important, by the way, is the featured section, because LinkedIn has placed it as per the UI at a position which is above experience and education for a reason. Because it's like a, before you go into a store and you shop there is always something kept at the window, right? You do window shopping and it allures you, or certain items on the display panel on the window will get you attracted, and then you enter the store. This is your window panel basically for your profile. So whatever you put here, if that attracts or intrigues and interests people, that's when they scroll further, right? Simply put, after this stage. So what can you put up here as a student? It could be your certifications, very important, not all of them. Let's say, again, you want to become a marketer, you've done a very important digital marketing certification, or you did a diploma course or something, and you're now a certified digital marketer in a way. And obviously, if you want to grow in that field and build a career there, it is a very important thing that you should highlight in your featured section. So you can put up that certificate ka picture here. That's one way. What else can you put up? Any social media handles of yours where you're talking about your niche or your area of expertise or things you're interested in. Or if you have your own website or portfolio, you can put up the links to that. If there is any particular, I would say, conference or competition that you've won and you have a certificate from there, you can put that. If you've got a letter of recommendation from your teachers, from your managers when you did your internships, anything that just shows more credibility and can help third party, which is anybody coming on your profile, build more trust is what you put here, right? It could be anything. It could be images, could be PDFs, could be slide decks. It could be your own LinkedIn posts. If you're somebody who is creating content on LinkedIn and something's done really well and it's again relevant to your niche and it represents what you know, you can, put that up as well. Right now, there's this campaign I did with a brand because I'm a content creator and I did it just yesterday. So that's there on my featured section. That'll go down by tomorrow. But in general, if you see, my first 3 links are my YouTube channel link, because that's most important for me. I started it 3 months back and I'm trying to drive traffic there. The second link is the link to my website, dhairyadecodes.com, where people can book one-to-one sessions with me. And if you'll scroll further, my TEDx talk is there. Those are my top 3. Your top 3 posts of your featured section have to be thought through very well. What are those top 3 things for which you want people to know you? You have to be very, very clear about it, right? So similarly, think on lines. For you, is there a certification? Is there a link to your social media, a portfolio link, a letter of recommendation, or something else altogether? Or a post that you'd like to highlight, and keep variety, at least amongst those 3 posts, right? Like I have one link to a talk, I have one link to a website, and one link to a social media channel. They're all different from each other. That variety you have to keep, okay? Yeah, and that's pretty much what the featured section is for. We can scroll down to the about section now. Yeah. See, I'll quickly brief you on the about section. It's not very complex. I think you need to understand just 3 things about this section. See, the banner and the headline section don't give you a lot of room to express yourself at length, right? Because you're short of words. There is not a lot of space. About section, on the other hand, is a place wherein you can, elaborate things, wherein you can talk about your journey, right? So it's like a summary section where what you do essentially is that you summarize what is it that your life journey has been like, right? So you start right from where have you completed your education from, what was the name of the educational institute, to what did you do in those 3 or 4 years, what are your major strengths or skills. You can talk a little bit about what kind of internships you did, what are your passion projects, what are your hobbies. So you just build a storyline, right? And then you talk about what are you aspiring to do now, what kind of industry do you want to venture into, work in, etc., your aspirations. So it's like a timeline that you give to people, right? This is my journey. You cannot make it very heavy at any point of time. So my about section is lengthy, it's long, but in no way is it difficult to read through, right? It's very easy to read through. It's skimmable. It is scattered into bullet points, right? Which are very, very readable. So always use bullet points. Make sure you do storytelling here. And also, if you observe again, I've used the same keywords that I used in my banner and headline section again here. Okay. Whether it's the keyword career coach, whether it's the keyword public speaker, whether it's the keyword content creator, resume building, LinkedIn profile building, each of the keywords has been used again. That's because here the SEO score is counted everywhere there is any kind of textual content that comes in. So my profile's ranking is going up every time I'm using it, but we're not going to do it just for the sake of it. I'm doing it very consciously in the right sections, at the right sections. If you scroll down towards the end of my about section, if we can scroll down, just make sure you have a call to action, right? Last line is that you should always have a call to action for a person, which is something to redirect them to, right? Always. You cannot leave them hanging to dry saying that, okay, this is all about me and bye. No. You have to redirect them to a website, redirect them to your email, tell them to follow you on LinkedIn, DM you on LinkedIn, connect with you on LinkedIn. There has to be some point, because when somebody on the internet, wherein everybody is busy, honestly, irrespective of what you do, is spending 1 or 2 minutes to read through your journey, you have to give them something to be redirected to, always, come what may. So that one last line could be as simple as, if you are also somebody who is enthusiastic about technology, AI, and ML, for example, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, or feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn, or DM me on LinkedIn, or, reach out to me on my email ID, or check out my website, or whatever. But some CT is needed. Yeah. So that's pretty much about the about section. I think we can scroll down to the next section, which is experience. I'll keep it very, very brief here. See, it's a self-explanatory section. When it comes to your experience section, it's all about, yeah, we can just stay there. Yeah, this is fine. So when you talk about the experience section, you essentially are talking about all the part-time jobs, full-time jobs, freelance work, um, your own entrepreneurial ventures, any work experience that you've had comes here, right? Essentially. So you just add that. It's as simple as that. The only thing that I want to tell you here is that if you see, for every experience of mine, apart from the Dhairya decodes, I have a description, and I've filled that description, whether it's for KPMG or all my other 25 internships I did in college. Why is it filled? Because, see, think of it from a perspective of anybody coming on your profile. People are not just interested in knowing, oh, this person worked at KPMG, or this person worked at Google, or this person interned here and this was their role. They also would like to know, what did you do? Always explain, whether it's 1 bullet point or 2 bullet points, explain what were you responsible for? What did you do? How did you help the firm? So you have to have bullet points explaining what you did there. Don't just fill up the experience section with the dates where, the name of the companies and your roles. That won't help, right? That's the only tip I want to give for the experience section. Otherwise, it's very self-explanatory as a section. Okay, we can scroll down to the next section now. You all can obviously check out the content later. Education, again, is a very, very, I would say, straightforward section. Your postgrad, undergrad, 12th, 10th comes here, right? Your college names, your grades, if you want to, again, display them out in the public. You can very well choose not to. It's a skippable field when you'll go and edit it. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. That's it. That's the purpose. The duration, what you did when, so that people just get an understanding of your timeline. That's it. Moving on, let's go to the volunteering section. When we talk about volunteering, it's all about NGOs, NPOs, social ventures, charitable organizations, and any causes that you have associated yourself with as a volunteer. That is all that comes here. And you can elaborate on them. You can talk about what your role was. One thing I want to highlight here is, because all of your college students, is any club, chapter, society, organization that you're a part of in college will not come under your experience section, which was the previous section. It'll come under the volunteering experience section. Just be very mindful of that, right? It comes under volunteering work. It doesn't come under work experience on LinkedIn. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. Moving forward to licenses and certifications. This is a very, very important section. Any kind of online or offline courses or programs and certifications that you do, relevant to the domain you want to build a career in, or in multidisciplinary skills, irrespective of that, you have to just keep two things in mind. One is, the top 3 certifications you add should be relevant to the career path you want to take. I'm not saying, for example, if you want to become a content writer, ideally the top 3 certifications or courses you're adding here should be related to content writing or skills needed to become a content writer, instead of certifications around digital marketing or operations and sales. I'm not saying you cannot do them, but they should be there after the 3rd certification onwards to show a good blend. But the focus should be on what you want to become, right? Second thing is there is something called credential ID and credential URL, which most of the e-learning platforms like a Udemy, Coursera, Skill Camp, and a lot of Data Camp and a lot of other Skillshare platforms have started providing. What is this credential ID and credential URL? The moment you complete a course, you get this ID or URL, because of which once you add the credential ID and URL on LinkedIn here, when you'll edit every certification, there are two fields to add credential ID and URL. Once you add those, that is when this button of show credential appears, right? So what essentially happens is people can actually click on it and view your certification, right? So it builds more third party trust. I can actually go and see, okay, when did she complete the certification? Has she actually gotten the certification, etc.? So if you are getting a credential ID and URL from a particular website, I would recommend you to add it, because then a third party can come, click on it, and actually even view your certification, and it just builds more trust. Okay, so those were the two things I wanted to kind of highlight. Okay, we can scroll down to projects. Projects is again a very, very self-explanatory section. Any projects you build in college, during college, as a part of the academic curriculum, or you do it yourself. It can be self-paced. It could be a team project or an individual one, doesn't matter. Any projects that you're creating, please add them here. Every project should have an objective. Every project should talk about what you use to build that project, how did you build the project, and every project should have a conclusion. Right? Every project should have an ultimate outcome. What did you achieve out of it? That's it. So essentially, those are the things you'll add in your under each project that you add in the project section. Okay. I'm going to move on to one of the most important sections, which is called skills. You can add up to 50 skills on LinkedIn. As you can see, it says at the bottom, show all 50 skills. Nobody has the time to click on it and see all 50 skills, and nobody will. But people will see your top 3 skills because the UI shows them. And in general, people will be interested in seeing the top 3 skills. Your top 3 skills have to be skills you're most confident about, you're very sure of, and they're skills that you have been working on for a while, right? They should obviously be attached to and relevant to whatever career path you are planning to take as well. It should be aligned. Ideally, if you want to get into data analytics or data science, I would want keywords like, obviously, one skill should be data analytics. It could be data visualization, could be Tableau or Power BI. One of the data visualization tools could be the third skill, right? If you want to get into, let's say, for example, let me take something different now. Again, like if you want to become like a content writer, keywords like content writing, market research or research as a skill is important as a writer. And something else can also go there. If you're also into copywriting, you can have copywriting as a skill. So the point is your top 3 skills are skills you should be dead sure about in terms of how capable you are of answering questions related to it and how confident you are when it comes to those skills. That's when you put them as your top 3 skills. Go ahead, don't shy away and ask people for endorsements on your skills. What are endorsements? It is people who have worked with you in some capacity coming and saying that, okay, so Dhairya can say Dhairya is good at public speaking, right? But if 99 other people are coming and saying Dhairya is good at public speaking, like you can see 99 plus endorsements, it builds more trust. 100 other people are saying that, okay, Dhairya is good at public speaking. So a recruiter or other people in general will take me seriously. Similarly, when you say I'm good at digital marketing, just saying you're good at digital marketing does not help. People want social proof and proof of work in a way. If your teachers who are professors in college and you're performing well in a particular subject can come and endorse you. Your colleagues or project mates with whom you're building a project can vouch for the fact that you're good at digital marketing. Or your manager in your previous internship where you were playing the role of a digital marketer can come and endorse you. That'll be a game changer in a way. And these endorsements help. So please go out there and you'll have to ask for endorsements. People will not just come randomly and endorse you. Let me tell you. I had to initially go and ask people for endorsement because nobody will come and do it naturally. Okay. So that's pretty much about the skill section. I'm going to move on to the last section that I want to talk to you about, which is recommendations. So we can scroll down. Now, recommendations is basically a section wherein I'm sure you all know that if you want to do an MBA or a master's outside of India, there is something called a letter of recommendation you have to get written. Sometimes also in a lot of colleges in India today, you need LORs. LORs are a proof of work again, in a way. They are social proof that people have had a good time working with you and have good things to say about you. The recommendation section on LinkedIn is very similar to it. People who have worked with you in any capacity can come and write recommendations for you, stating what was their experience working with you, what was the equation that they shared, and why are they recommending you. Simple, right? So it's one thing to come and endorse your skill, it takes a few seconds, but it's another thing to actually take a few minutes out and write a couple of lines about, their experience of working with you. So these are obviously essentially going to be people who have genuinely had a very good time working with you, or availing any service from you, or just engaging with you in some form, right? So again, but you'll have to reach out to these people, you'll have to ask for recommendations. Nobody just comes along and says, hey, I want to give you a recommendation. It's very rare. Okay, so yeah, that's how you can go about getting recommendations. Now on that note, I think, can we just scroll up right to the top ones? I just wanted to cover one last thing that I might have kind of skipped. Yes. So one thing I want you to be very, very, very mindful of is the fact, um, that, see, overall, if you see everything that I took you through right now in phase one, which is LinkedIn profile optimization, right from my display picture to banner to about section to headline, featured, skills, education, experience, volunteering work, whatever we covered, recommendations, you would have seen some kind of coherence in my profile, right? And if you don't, you can beg to differ, please. But essentially, you will see that the narrative has not changed. At every point of time, I have reinitiated the fact, or reinstated the fact in people, that I'm a career coach, I'm a content creator, I help you with career growth. I help with services, which is resume building, LinkedIn profile building. Why? It's been done repeatedly again and again with the usage of keywords across different sections, because number one, that's how my ranking will go up on the LinkedIn platform for that particular keyword, right? So my SEO score increases, my visibility increases. Visibility is very important to get opportunities, whether it's jobs, whether it's freelancing gigs, whether it is brand collaborations or anything else. You look at it from any angle. Visibility is a must. Okay. And the second thing that you'll see why this coherence is also important is so that at every point of time, you come across as a person who's very, very clear about their value proposition and offerings. If you yourself are confused, it becomes very difficult. I've seen people who have data analysis, data science, data visualization written on their banner, and then in their headline section, they have sales, marketing, automation written. That is very contradictory and conflicting. I'm not saying one person cannot have these two skills, but then all of these keywords should be there on your banner and on your headline. They cannot be separate. There has to be uniformity all across your profile. That's the golden rule. And I'm repeating that again. So now that we're done with phase one, I think we can kind of stop the screen sharing, because I don't really need the screen right now, and we can, yeah, perfect. So I think we're done with phase one. I hope you've understood what I really meant by having an optimized LinkedIn profile. This is what an optimized LinkedIn profile contains. These are all the sections you have to kind of not just have updated, but also have the right keywords there across all of these sections to have an optimized profile. Once that step is done, the next step is to have relevant content on your profile related to that domain or niche. What do I mean by it? So, again, if you're a student who is, let's say, an aspirant in, let's say you want to become a psychologist, or you want to become, let's say, you want to get into counseling or therapy, or let's say you want to become an author, for example. I'm just taking some random examples. Whatever it is that you want to become, till the time you don't talk about whatever it is that you know at this stage about it, what you're learning about it, even as a student, it's difficult for somebody to give you opportunities. If you think just by adding keywords like author, writer, research, or whatever, just adding those keywords in your LinkedIn profile, you'll start getting job offers, you will start being offered internships, so people will notice you. It doesn't work that way. Content on LinkedIn is the biggest way for you to get organic reach, which means you directly and very naturally get an audience of thousands of people watching you. And one or two people out of those thousands of people one day will ultimately be recruiters or startup founders who will like your profile, like your work, and reach out to you with opportunities. Or they'll keep noticing you and then see if ultimately there is something that can happen. But that possibility will not come without a piece of content, because that's how the algorithm is defined. The algorithm is built, sorry, and that's how the platform works. When you put out a piece of content on LinkedIn, by default, it is shown to people who know you first, And then it is shown to new audiences who are discovering you. And the moment you start getting discovered by new people every single day, that's when you start getting opportunities. It's simple logic. So I'm not advocating for you to become a content creator. And for all you know, you may want to become one, then do it. I'm advocating for you to create content. And content is not just created by content creators. Content is a form of expression. Anything is happening around the world in business, tech, finance, politics, geopolitics, whatever. Everybody has an opinion. Some people choose to present it, some people don't. The people who choose to present it on a public platform are called content creators today. That's the only difference. I know every single family member of mine, when anything happens, a bill is passed, anything is happening, some Bollywood actor is doing something, we all have opinions, yeah, and we share it with each other. It's just that I'm one of them who's posting it on LinkedIn or Instagram. That's the only difference. Why is it necessary for you as a student to post on LinkedIn? And what should you post on LinkedIn? Let's come to that. See, whether you're in your first year, second year, third year, fourth year, whatever it is, of the degree or the course you are pursuing, what is of utmost importance is that you share whatever it is that you're learning. Consider LinkedIn as your diary or your journal, okay, wherein you are plotting and noting down what you're going through and what you're experiencing. If a lot of students feel overwhelmed and think that we are students, we're not subject matter experts, we don't have a job, we don't even have an internship, how can I even talk about things on LinkedIn? People will pull me down, there'll be negativity, or they'll think I'm showing off. And I understand all of those emotions, and it's very difficult to do so. But please understand, till the time you don't come from a point of showing off, or you don't come from a space of knowing it all or being a guru, nobody will say that to you. If you are sharing, this is what I learned, this is what I know, please share what it is that you also know, or I don't know it all, but this is my opinion. Nobody can question it. Everybody has the right to share their opinion. A third year student pursuing BBA can very well talk about certain business aspects or break down a marketing campaign of a company or an ad. Why not? You're just sharing your opinion on a particular ad or a campaign. Nobody can say, hey, you're in third year, you can't do this. And even if people say that, it's okay. The point is, why is it important for you to do that? Is think of it from a recruiter standpoint. I'm a recruiter, I want to hire a growth marketer in my startup or a strategy intern. It's one thing, obviously, I'll go through your profile, I'll see your entire profile, I'll find the relevant keywords, great. But how will I validate you know it? Just by seeing keywords again and again, strategy, market research, content writing, I won't hire you. Yeah. How do I know you know content writing? Show me that through your posts. If you're a content writer, show that in your written posts. No? If you're a content writer, the content that you write should also show that you can write, right? That's the best way. If you are somebody who says, I'm good with marketing or running campaigns, then break down a campaign and explain to me. And that is when I will go to your activity section on LinkedIn and check your posts and see what is it that you know about your field and how confident are you to talk about it, even if it's just sharing your experience. As students, you can literally just talk about what you learned in a particular subject in a particular lecture. You can talk about what you learned from your professors. What kind of a project are you building? What are your learnings from an internship? Or anything that you're doing. You could be just taking up a random course on the internet and learning a particular skill or a tool. You can talk about that, right? You can talk about all of it. Just never let it come from a boastful place or in a tonality that it looks like you're a guru. Even today, it's been 3 years in this profession. None of my posts come across in such a way that I am the ultimate person. I am a subject matter expert. I know it all. I'm this and that. It's always, this is what I have experienced. This is what I've been able to get as results for my mentees and students. And this is what you can try. Let me know what is your opinion or what do you think or what has worked for you. Whenever the tonality of your post will be that way, nobody will question you. I started out when I was 22. I'm 25 today. It was 3 months into graduating. I was a student and I was going and giving lectures to MBA students over 27, 28, 29 years old, right? And I received a lot of backlash in the beginning on LinkedIn. People would say that, oh, now a 22-year-old girl is going to teach us how to prepare for interviews. Or a 22-year-old girl is going to teach us what to put on our resume. But I mean, see, after a point of time, your work and what you're doing starts speaking for itself. I always say that. You don't have to justify or prove your worth to anybody after a point of time. So take it with a pinch of salt in the beginning while you're a student. But that shouldn't stop you from creating content because, like I said, those content pieces are going to get you those opportunities. I was receiving at least 5 job offers every single month, even when I was not looking for a job, because I was putting out a piece of content, at least 2 to 3 pieces of content, every single week. So the point is, I'm just encouraging you to go out there and probably just use it as your own diary or journal. That's it. With that, I'll come to the last phase of the workshop. Right, and after that, we can move to Q&A. So the last phase is, once you have optimized your profile and you've started creating content in that niche as well, in which you want to build a career, step 1 and 2 are done. The last step, which is the nail in the coffin, is creating a strong personal brand. Once you do step 1 and 2, the funny fact is that your step 3 is already covered. You've unconsciously created a personal brand in that niche. If you're consistently and constantly optimizing your profile for certain keywords and you're talking about that niche repeatedly, people have started associating your name with that thing. Today, whenever my name comes up, Dhairya Gangwani is associated with LinkedIn content creator, not just content creator, it's specific. LinkedIn content creator and career coach or career coaching. These are the two words people associate me with. The moment I will say pizza, you will remember Domino's or Pizza Hut or Smoking Joe's at Max, right? The moment I'm going to say shoes, you will think of a Reebok or an Adidas or a Nike or all of these brands basically, right? Because they've created a very good Skechers and stuff like that. You are not going to think of very random brands because they have such a strong brand identity and hold and grip on your brain. Similarly, each one of us is a personal brand. We stand for something, and there is something we all want to be known for. When people start knowing you for that thing without you having to put the effort that, hey, know me for this, that is when you've created a personal brand. So if you enter a room and you're telling people, I am this, I am that, it's okay because you need to educate people. But the moment you leave that room and 2-3 years later or 2 or 3 months later, also if someone's having a conversation around that topic and they remember you for that, then you've created a personal brand, right? Going forward, when people start associating your name with seasoned marketing professional or with the keyword a growth marketer or specifically a performance marketer, then you have created a personal brand. A personal brand is very personal to you. It represents you, your values, what you want to be known for, right? And Jeff Bezos said this very beautifully, that what people know you for and associate you with when you've left the room is your personal brand. That's the best definition, according to me, of a personal brand. And the moment you start optimizing your profile and creating content actively, you create a personal brand for yourself. And then the ball is in your court. Then if you are looking for jobs or internships or you're looking to connect with professionals, people will not resist you because your profile will be so strong that they would also want to talk to you. Okay. Then if you're connecting with an HR of a big MNC, or you're reaching out to somebody for a referral for a job, or you're writing a cold email to a startup founder, they will reply back, even if it's a no. And that is what we want. That respect will be built because your profile will speak for itself and there'll be so much testimony of work and everything that you've been able to do. Right? So those are the 3 phases. And one last thing that I want to mention before we open up the floor for Q&A is, it can be a little overwhelming. You might also think that it will not immediately help you. And that's the reality. Right after this workshop, if you go back, make changes to your LinkedIn profile and start doing all of these things, in the next 2 days, 3 days, 1 month, things are not going to change. Let me just give you a reality check. The point is that you will have to give it time. Just give it time and things will turn out to be the way you want them to. LinkedIn has given me so many opportunities. Everything that I've been able to do in life, apart from the job that I got at KPMG, which was through campus placements, is all because of LinkedIn. Being able to leave my full-time job, becoming a content creator, having interactions with people I could have never even dreamt of interacting with, building revenue sources for myself, getting a lot of internships. Even today, I get at least 1 job offer every month. All of that has been possible because of LinkedIn, right? So yeah, just be patient and I'm sure it will work magically and wonderfully well for you as well. I think that's it from my end. And I'd love to answer any kind of questions that you have for me. Happy to take them up.
Thank you, ma'am, for this engaging session. We do have a couple of questions coming up in the chat box. So the first question which we have is, in the headline section, should we add past experiences or not?
By past experiences, you mean, like, I didn't really get you. Past experiences as in, what do they exactly want to add? Some clarity on this?
Past experience, like in general, like what we've achieved through our school life and what we're achieving through our college. So like, should we add that in our experience section?
No, see, like I said, your experience section will only contain internships. Okay. It'll only contain part-time jobs, full-time jobs, and any kind of work that you've done, freelance work or your own entrepreneurial venture. Everything else that you do in college for your own self-development or improvement will all come under volunteering experience. Like I stated, it won't come under experience.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wise answer. The next question which we have is, how big should the about part be like? Should it be within 6 to 7 bullet points, or it could be more than that?
Can you come again? Sorry.
How big should the about part be like? Should it be within 6 to 7 bullet points, or can it be more than that?
No, so there's no limit to the number of bullet points you need to have whatsoever. Just have bullet points so that it's readable and skimmable. Ideally, I think anywhere between 6 to 10 bullet points is more than enough. But again, like I said, it's not like if you'll have 12 bullet points, somebody's going to reject you. This is not a resume. Like I said, it's your digital canvas. You're open and you have the freedom to kind of paint it the way you want to. Just don't make it too lengthy. Like I said, readability at any point of time should not be reduced for your about section. As long as that's taken care of, the number of bullet points should not be a major point of concern.
Thank you, ma'am, for the insightful answer. The next question which we have is, are the courses provided by LinkedIn worth it? And do they add value to our LinkedIn profile?
So you have to be very careful of what kind of courses you add, right? Not every other course or certification that you do can be added on your LinkedIn profile and shouldn't be added on your LinkedIn profile. Ask yourself this question after you do a course, that what did I learn out of this course? Are these learnings going to help me either get an internship or a job in the future, or build a project or do something practical? If there is a practical outcome that you're getting right after doing that course, then it makes sense to add it. Or else, we all know there are multiples of courses floating around the internet today that you can do just for getting certificates. And I wouldn't recommend you to keep adding all of them onto your profile. Be very picky with the ones you add.
Thank you, ma'am, for the enlightening answer. The next question which we have is, are there any specific strategies that we can use to find job opportunities?
So I think, see, on LinkedIn, the first thing is that have an optimized profile. After that, create the content that you have to. The third step is start looking for companies that are hiring. How do you do that? You type the name of the company in the search bar on LinkedIn and go and follow their company page. That's the first step on LinkedIn. So that anytime they're putting up a post, they have a job opening, you get notified, right? When you go to any company page, let's say you go to the company page of Microsoft or Zomato or Swiggy, there is an option to turn on notifications for job postings. Okay. Turn that on, because every time they put up a job, you should be, notified in your notification section on LinkedIn first, so that you are one of the first early applicants to apply. The next thing you can do is, when you go to any company page of any company, there's a tab which is called People. So when you go to the People tab, you get to see common connections who are connected to you and work there. You get to see alumni from your college who are working there. You also get to see who are the people working in certain roles. So look for talent acquisition managers or human resource managers or people who are hiring, basically, because they are the people who will hire talent into the firm, right? And you should stay connected to them and gain visibility. Again, not from the objective that you connect with them and ask them for a job. No, that's where you go wrong. Don't find them, hunt them down, and just send them a message that this is my resume, I'm looking for a job, give me a job. No, the point is to connect with them and come in their eyes again and again and again, repetitively through the content, maybe endorsing their skills, appreciating them, etc. And then ultimately building a professional relationship and bond that's not transactional, and which leads to them noticing your work and them wanting to reciprocate things and you ultimately getting a job. It has to be very subtle. Okay. LinkedIn is not, it's not direct. It's not like you go and ask for a job and you'll get a job. You'll never get a job by asking for a job or an internship. Trust me. You will have to create circumstances in such a way and network the right way that you get those opportunities. Never make it transactional, right? Your first message should never say, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for a referral, give me a referral. Don't do that.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a detailed answer. The next question which we have is, how often should one post on LinkedIn?
So, see, it depends. If you're just starting out, which most of you are, 2 posts in a week is more than enough to begin with. You don't really need to have more than 2 posts in a week when you're starting out. And then, honestly speaking, basis your capacity, bandwidth, and your will, and how much you start enjoying this process, it can go up to 5 times a week. It can go up to 1 post every week. It's totally up to you. I started with 2 posts in a week. I think within 3 months, I took it up to 3 posts. And then I started posting 4 times. And it's been almost 2 years. I post 1 post every single day. I try to. There are gaps in the middle sometimes now. But yeah, where I am at today is 1 post every day. And you should start with 2 posts in a week. That's more than enough.
Thank you, ma'am, for the amazing answer. The next question which we have is, how can I leverage my LinkedIn groups to expand my professional network?
So I think the first step is to be a part of the right LinkedIn groups. So you have to obviously type the right keywords and look for groups. There are groups for literally everything, just like there are Facebook groups. If you are a part of the right groups, you will interact with the right people. Again, if you will post your post that you're posting on LinkedIn on those LinkedIn groups, the right people in those groups will notice your content again. And one of them could again be your future boss, could be a future co-founder, could be somebody you're going to build something with. You never know. That's how you find people, right? It's a great way to network and get discovered by people who may not see your content directly on the feed or through the algorithm also. That's where groups come in. See, let's say you created a piece of content, that person is not connected to you also, and the algorithm also didn't show the piece of content to them. But if you're a part of that group and that person is on that group and is interested in the topics you're talking about, they will probably check that piece of content out of curiosity, check your profile. If they like your profile, follow you, and you never know, they might offer you something or you might offer them something. Networking always has to be mutually beneficial. You don't get into it with wanting something. You always get into it with a giving nature. Only then do you get something out of networking. So that's how you can leverage the LinkedIn groups.
Thank you, ma'am. With this, we come to the end of the questions. I'm sure each one of us will take back a lot of learnings from this session today. Now we can move on with the closing ceremony.
As we bring this brilliant speaker session to a close, we are confident that the insights shared today will serve as valuable assets for our attendees in the times ahead. Throughout this session, Ms. Dhairya Gangwani has exemplified the very essence of life, serving as a beacon of inspiration and propelling us towards our dreams while fostering a sense of care for others. On behalf of the Entrepreneurship Development Cell at St. Xavier's College, Autonomous, Kolkata, we extend our sincerest gratitude to Ms. Dhairya Gangwani for generously sharing her extensive knowledge and profound experiences. It is a distinct honor and privilege to have had the opportunity to host such an esteemed personality. We deeply appreciate ma'am's willingness to take time out of our busy schedule to engage with our audience, which undoubtedly will help us make significant strides in our careers and professional lives. The session also teaches us that success on LinkedIn is not just about accumulating connections, it's about fostering meaningful relationships, adding value, and contributing to your professional community. A special mention to our respected principal, Reverend Dr. Father Dominic Savio SJ, and Vice Principals, Reverend Dr. Father Joseph Kulindai SJ, Reverend Dr. Father Peter Arokyam SJ, and Professor Bertram da Silva for encouraging us to pursue greatness and live up to the great Xaverian reputation. I also thank our faculty advisor, Dr. Arup Kumar Mitra, for his leading supervision and support at every step. We extend our heartfelt thanks to our attendees for their patience, active participation, and for posing such thought provoking questions. Lastly, we express our profound appreciation for the members of the Entrepreneurship Development Cell, whose support, timely contributions, and guidance have been instrumental in the success of this session. Attendees, the short link to access both the credit sheet and quiz form will be shared in the YouTube chat box. So kindly fill the sheet to avail the 4 hours of non-academic credit. For those interested in receiving e-certificates, please make sure to complete the quiz within 15 minutes. Once again, we extend our gratitude to all those who joined us with EDC. Wishing you all a pleasant day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, ma'am.